Aloha, welcome, and thank you for the gift of your time in joining us today. Today, Governor Josh Green will sign several bills that will contribute to the state's growing arsenal of legislation protecting our climate. Facilitated questions and answers will follow promptly after remarks conclude, and the formal bill signing will commence shortly thereafter. Without further ado, it is my great privilege to introduce Governor Josh Green.
Hey, good to see you all. Peace. Aloha. Thank you for the time, and great to see old friends. My goodness. Today we're going to sign a few bills that are focused on conservation, environmental stewardship, and resources. The two legislators that I am honored to single out today, just a little extra, Representative Quinlan and Senator Inouye. Thank you guys for leading the charge, for guiding the legislature, making sure people come along. This is a process, and as you know, there's no one single responsibility that we have for our environment. It's a long-standing position that we have, which is to be thoughtful about the future. And that was hopefully demonstrated clearly when we went through the process of working together with the young next generation, the Navahine folks, and that settlement. A lot of this work is built on that and built on the input that's been made. But today we're going to go through 4 bills as a part of our broader perspective for the environment. So the first bill, if I may, just pop over there. Senate Bill 3364, transforming Hawaii's approach to sustainable and regenerative tourism. As you know, we have a lot of people that love to come to Hawaii, about 10 million a year. It is not sustainable if we're not thoughtful about it, and that's why these two particular legislative leaders have been so critical for not just this year, but for many years, to help steer our ship differently, and that's what we're doing. So this bill establishes destination management action plans, which are kind of putting our money where our mouth is, to do regenerative tourism. If we're going to continue to have a lot of people coming, we have to find a way to sustain it. So this sets the stage by amending the way we do HTA's work and emphasizing strategic tourism management that regenerates and has a special Native Hawaiian focus. And that is obviously the right thing to do. I will remind people that what we did early in our term was to navigate the impasse that had occurred on whether we are going to simply just market Hawaii or whether we're going to manage people's expectations and do right by Hawaii and our culture. And that was the first step, to change those contracts out, resolve that difference. But thank goodness the legislature continues to follow on with real palpable successes. So that's this first bill. I would note that others are trying to help us. I think we have a shot, even there, Japan Airlines. So we'll go to the next bill now, and thank you for that. HB 2248, this is for North Shore beach management. Needless to say, Representative Quinlan is a lead there and has his community always in heart and mind, because that's what a great representative does, which is really focuses on their community. And the North Shore is so precious to us. It is a magical place, and this is a great opportunity to reinvest in it. So $1 million goes to develop the North Shore beach management plan with UHC grant program work. You can't just decide and do something. You have to get a lot of input, and that's what Sean has done. Develops a beach management plan for the North Shore. It includes community input, and it addresses all these big issues that we've been seeing: erosion, recreational access, natural preservation. I mean, houses have fallen into the ocean. So I think it's pretty clear that that's not where we want to be going forward. But this is a long process. We estimate many billions of dollars will need to be invested in how we deal with our shorelines and where land is and where roads are and what we do going forward. So this will really guide us, I think, statewide, in my opinion, as we go forward. It also encompasses not just the short-term planning, but the long-term planning for public access and adaptation methods. It is going to be a big challenge for us, and these kind of discussions, in my opinion, set the stage for some of our macro policy that will continue to be debated. Do we find resources based on travel to invest in kind of the mitigation of the impact of travelers and climate change? Because this is not going to be cheap, but it is critical, and the whole world values Hawaii. They love Hawaii, so it's our goal to keep it spectacular for us our families, and then those guys that come every year. Next bill. This third and fourth bill actually are House Bill 2475, Regulation of Commercial Ocean Activities. Look, a lot of people are using unpermitted commercial activities, and it's not okay. And it's actually, when social media gets involved, it gets amplified. So I was glad to see the legislature stepping in. It's going to give better grounds for enforcement against illegal operations. Thank you, guys. Sometimes it's just very positive stuff, like the previous bill, getting people's input, putting together a plan. Sometimes we have to be a little bit stern. And Senator Noy is capable of being a little bit stern from time to time, so it's a good thing. And then Senate Bill 2575, prohibition of seabed mining in state waters. And I know that that's what a lot of people are here to witness today. This outlaws seabed mining in state marine waters due to environmental risks and constitutional rights to have a clean and healthy environment, which is exactly what we were trying to honor the young folks when they weighed in. But in many ways, it's for the Hawaiian community and their mana'o. So thank you for that. It's fantastic. It prohibits permits for seabed mining activities and associated infrastructure in state marine waters. I think the legislature decided to get out ahead of this. And for that, I'm going to be forever grateful. Last slide, I think, is just a picture of a plant. Yes. So thank you guys for all the hard work, and I'll turn it over to our expert legislators to really unpack some of this policy.
Mahalo, Governor. At this time, I'd like to introduce Senator Lorraine Inoue, Chair of the Senate Committee on Water and Land.
Aloha and good morning. Thank you, Governor. SB 3364 focuses on enhancing our approach to destination management across our beloved islands. And it's aimed at not only enriching visitor experiences, but also safeguarding our natural and our cultural treasures, as Governor highlighted. And we all strive to strike a delicate balance, fostering tourism growth while preserving Hawaii's unparalleled natural beauty and cultural heritage for generations to come. With the expressed strong support from HDA, knowing its role in developing community-led destination management plans that align with our state's commitment to sustainable tourism practices and regenerative tourism principles. And we'd like to say thank you, mahalo to our Senator De La Cruz and all the bill's introducers for their unwavering commitment to advancing this important legislation. And we're reaching interesting times in this generation. The Senate support for this bill just highlights our dedication to fostering sustainable and regenerative tourism. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Senator Inoue. Next, please welcome Representative Sean Quinlan, Chair of the House Committee on Tourism.
Aloha, good morning. This thing is my nemesis. Okay, doesn't matter. When it comes to coastal erosion, the North Shore of Oahu is really the canary in the coal mine for the entire state. Over the coming decades, we expect to see an acceleration of the loss of not just our beaches, but also beachfront homes. And guys, it is devastating and heartbreaking when someone's home is threatened, or even worse, falls into the ocean. But even more than that, these beaches are a focal point for our communities. They are where so many of our most cherished moments and memories happen: birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, proposals, holidays. And they're so critical to the health, the overall health of our communities. It's my firm hope and wish that this dune management plan can become a model for the rest of the state as we explore best practices for what we know is coming in the future. But it's also important to remember the overall economic value of these beaches. Waikiki Beach was recently assessed at $2 billion a year in economic output. We're currently studying the value of our North Shore beaches, and I expect the answer will be in the high hundreds of millions or low billions. So it's really critical for not just our community, not just our society, but also our economy that we do something, and we do something now. I want to really mahalo all of the advocates and community members and the branches of government that have come together to put this bill before the governor. And I want to especially thank Governor Green and his administration for continuing to lead the way on climate change, adaptation, and mitigation, because without strong leadership, we're all going to be in a lot of trouble. So mahalo, and thank you for your time.
Mahalo, Representative Quinlan. We will now take questions from the media, facilitated by Makana McClellan.
Mahalo nui. I'm going to invite the governor up. And the first question, I'm going to be Ashley's voice from Hawaii Public Radio today. So her question is on SB 3364, also known as the HTA bill. So the question, Governor, is what are your thoughts about the future of HTA? The bill removes HTA's exemption from administrative supervision of boards and commissions. Is this a signal that there will be continued changes to the HTA's authority? Have you seen the governance study, and if so, do you agree with those recommendations?
Sure. So I appreciate it. The HTA is evolving. As you know, we shook it up a bit in its first year. I put a provocateur into its ranks in Mufi Hahnemann to shake everybody up, and also with a new DBED director, we have actually an exchange of ideas that land at the legislature, and I'm going to rely on the leaders of the committees, the economic development committees, to determine its final structure, because I think that's the partnership we want. I do think there had to be more accountability for HTA. They had reached an impasse with our legislative friends over the budget. That just tells you that we really were not in a healthy space. So I do welcome some change. I absolutely do. And full oversight is comfortable for me. The changes already are being implemented, as you can see in some of these statutes. That's an important thing to note. And a lot of times the changes that are implemented because of the resources that do or don't get appropriated. And the appropriation and division of the resources into management based on our cultural considerations have also already changed HTA very significantly.
Mahalo, Governor. Our next question comes from Anita with Grist.
Hi, Governor. Good to see you again. My question is about the deep sea mining ban. You mentioned the letter to President Biden from the congressional delegation. I was wondering if there's anything that your administration is doing in addition to this bill to talk to President Biden's administration about a broader moratorium on deep sea mining from the United States.
Sure. So we're in agreement with the congressional delegation. I work closely with them. They've been very proactive on protecting the waters around Hawaii, and so we particularly appreciate Congressman Case. He's been very passionate about this. All of them, but also Senator Schatz, as we've looked at the monument in these last couple of years. So I'm right with them. It's really kind of a 4+1, in this case, the congressional plus me. But when the legislature passes bills over to us at the executive branch like this, it's easiest to then be able to share with the Biden-Harris administration that this is our standard, without question. Speaking through legislation is probably the most potent way for us to act.
Is from Marcel Civilby.
Hey, Governor, a few weeks back you had mentioned the possibility of having a special session on the climate impact fee, and I just thought I'd give, especially given the urgency with all of the insurance changes that we're seeing that are fast moving.
Yes.
So given that, I wanted to see what, if any, update there is on that, and if possible, even to get some input, some manao from the legislators.
Sure. I'm happy to get the input. Please, guys, come up. But I can give you the initial guidance, which is we formed two separate task forces, the Climate Action Team and then the Insurance Working Group or Task Force, both of which are hard at work to give us a recommendation on whether we need to supplement the resources for insurance, especially reinsurance for our state, because we're seeing spikes in condo insurance. That's the one. And then the other is the actual recommendation on whether or not a climate impact fee or some similar mechanism can be passed with the collaboration of the legislature to fund these very projects that we're discussing today. At this moment, I do not think there will be a special session. However, I'm absolutely still open to it and have spoken with both Speaker and Senate President if we feel that there's a quick mechanism to suppress that surge in cost. Our insurance commissioner and past insurance commissioners are also working on specifics about whether or not we either have to form a global captive insurance model for the state to keep, kind of keeping prices down, or whether we actually have to do more in the way of fire prevention, mitigation on disasters, and so on, to show that Hawaii is a safer place for insurers to come. Those are the two things. And so, for example, the bills we passed 3 or 4 days ago on wildfire mitigation, all of the things that are being done, the added sensors, the added weather monitoring, the fire breaks, the fire marshal, we hope and expect those actions, which were from the legislature this year, will mitigate the surge in risk and cost. So some of it we already did, and I know that there are some condos that are seeing 100%, 200% increases in their insurance. It's going to take a lot of action to convince the world that Hawaii is safer or has done more to cover the costs. I think having an insurance product going forward for future disasters will be what we need, because that will decrease the exposure for the insurance companies, and therefore that will keep our costs way lower. That's probably going to be necessary. That would come in the form of whatever legislative recommendation we get. Do you guys have other stuff to add? I mean, this is real-time work that's happening with members from the leadership team. For example, the insurance issue for condominiums is being, I think, spearheaded by Senate President and Speaker, in addition to other members like Senator Kehokalole. So they're on that. The other one is being led by environmental leaders and leaders from industry, Chris Benjamin, and all the insurance commissioners. So the best minds that we have are on this, and we will consider using any number of funds to make sure that we don't have these big burdens on our local insurance market.
Our final question comes from the Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
First of all, have you done all the calculation of all the math on the status of the budget now? You've only got a couple days. My understanding is it's $500 million out of balance. Is that what you are figuring out?
Yes, thank you. And we can do follow-up too, Daryl, if you like, because it's a complicated question. So we were about $300 million out of balance. We will sort that out. Most of it will be covered, and the legislature, I hope, will accept my humble apology for vetoing one bill, which would have otherwise set aside that extra $300 million into the rainy day fund and $135 million into the ERS fund, a prepayment. So that $435 million will be kept in our kind of coffers. So that right there will balance our budget and more. We're finalizing some discussions, not so much on line item vetoes, but decreasing to the extent of monies we can spend. Like, for instance, some monies were given to a couple of our departments, which we just are not capable of expending in the year. And so we're just trying to right fit our capacity to administer work. So we will shrink some appropriations potentially from like $10 million to $5 million, with the expectation that come next year, if we've done a good job, great. We'll gladly and humbly take more monies to help on invasive species and so on and so on. I will do that this afternoon, very likely, and I am going to go to the Governors Association meetings on late Wednesday. So I'll tie up all of our administrative work before then, and then may take a couple days with family away, for our annual family reunion. But everything will be done before that. What else can I tell you? So that's going to balance the budget. We hope to have a carryover of about $300 million at the least by the end, and we are not going to touch the rainy day fund, of course. I mean, that would have had to be authorized by 2/3 votes of the legislature. So we keep a $1.5 billion rainy day fund intact. The monies in the hurricane relief fund also are untouched. And I would just say, for thought leadership going forward, we have to assess these bills and what we're doing today on how we will fund going forward protection of our environment and protection against large climate events. So those monies are helpful for the future. I still feel strongly, and this is my pitch to everyone, a very small, very modest impact fee would help us immensely going forward. And some legislators are really into it, some aren't. That's okay. But something very modest and something that doesn't sting too much, but comes from travelers to our shores, would help with all of these programs. And I'll just keep working with the colleagues that I have, and I'm grateful for. There's also got to be a decision, just so everyone knows, on the open Senate seat. I'll probably give you some guidance of what I'm going to do before I leave, most likely. And I apologize for overdressing for this press conference. We're greeting the President of South Korea today. Otherwise, I would dress down comfortably like Sean Quinlan.
Rep. Quinlan is looking lovely today. I will say that. So mahalo. I'd like to formally welcome everyone up for the bill signing and invite key stakeholders. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Kalamai, we're going to have Senator Inouye just make comments about a specific bill.
Yes. Very troublesome bill. This is very troublesome to me as well. And this is SB 2575. And this, as Governor did say, it aims to protect the Hawaii's marine ecosystems by prohibiting seabed mining in state waters due to its high risk to the environment and biodiversity. But it also emphasizes the cultural and spiritual importance of the deep ocean to Native Hawaiians and safeguards existing ocean-dependent industries like fishing and tourism. And more importantly, this bill underscores a precautionary approach to avoid unknown harms, ensuring we preserve Hawaii's rich marine environments for our children and posterity. During my research, I've been following this for many years now, and we know that Oregon and California and Washington have already did their due diligence in creating resolutions as well. And though the environmental rules have not been completed by the International Seabed Authority, the plans are to prepare to accept its first application as early as this fall to start industrial-scale mining in the Pacific Ocean between Hawaii and Mexico. And with this signing today, we move forward with resolve and ensuring a sustainable and vibrant future for our beloved islands and communities. And let me say, just an aside, the states can do exploration work themselves or hire contractors. A NASDAQ-traded Canada-based mining company that wants to start extracting millions of tons of nodules containing metals from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean as soon as 2026. And that's why I say this is very troublesome. But this company estimates that's just one of its contract areas, a 46,000 square mile section of the Pacific, would generate $31 billion in net earnings over 25 years of mining. And just to say that China has the most contracts, and they got 5 in total. And several countries include Russia, Poland, India, France, Germany, and Japan, and several Pacific Island nations. The United States never ratified the treaty, which we're happy to say that, but participate in the debate. So this is a very troublesome issue, and I think beyond just worrying about the seabed mining, but we all know why they're doing seabed mining, because it's just to get additional, interest in EVs. And so it's going to be interesting what happens to EVs in the future. And so here we go again, back to transportation in the future in our country and the world. Aloha and mahalo.
Hello, Senator Inouye. Again, at this time, I'd like to invite legislators and key stakeholders to please join the governor for the formal bill signings. welcome you. We can do some individual setbacks as soon as we get the whole
Come on in, you guys. Yeah, I stand in the back for these things. It's my role.
If you are fun size, my rule is that you get the front. So fun size people towards the tip of the hat pole. If you are not and you're less than height, you belong in the back.
All right. Okay, so first up is relating to destination management. As we described, our goal is really to do a much better job of preserving what we are as a beautiful state and where we are culturally. So thank you, guys. Next up, relating to beach management on the North Shore.
Needless to say, Representative Quinlan has been our leader and spoke eloquently about this, so fantastic.
Give me that pen back. This was meant for you. Sorry about that. Yeah. Beautiful redhead, come here. This pen's for you. Love your friend. That's awesome. Okay. We're relating to commercial ocean activity again, better addressing how we manage what we really do on the ocean. Exceptional legislation, and sometimes I'm surprised that we even have to catch up on these issues, but needless to say, this is a good time to do it. There we go. And then, critically important, the Hawaii seabed work to prevent mining, to protect our seabed, and disruption of the true environment here, which is our beautiful ocean. So this is obviously for you.